It's such a lovely interview.
It really is, yes. And also once later on when kind of Beth winds up to say so many inspiring things about publishing and about following your own inspiration and supporting other people and building community.
Yeah.
So thank you to all the interviewees, Beth, Elena, Lee, Catherine, Emily, and Janet, and also to that really brilliant, good-looking interviewer.
Yeah, with the plaid. And I noticed like alternating plaid. I got to get in on that.
You know, it's an important style statement. And I'm wearing today, I am wearing my bpNichol, what would bpNichol do shirt in honor of bpNichol.
Yeah.
So I guess we should start talking about the shortlist on the subject.
Yes, it's rather thrilling. The shortlist for the bpNichol Chapbook Award. Bit of background first. The award recognizes excellence in Canadian poetry in English, published in chapbook form within Canada.
The award celebrates the work and life of bpNichol, who was a preeminent Canadian poet who devoted his career to the expanded possibilities of language, creating visual and sound poetry within and in addition to his numerous books and countless chapbooks. Nichol was a mentor to many writers and an inspiring community builder. He's an advocate for poetry in general and a champion of small press publishing in particular.
Yeah, and I think you noted for me that to pull out this quote, which is great, supporting small press is supporting literature on the cutting edge. So small press, he says, is the guardian of literary culture. And he goes further and he says it's the guardian of free speech. And we couldn't agree more.
Toward the end of his life, Nichol co-founded, we didn't mention Fraggle Rock at all at this point. I mean, I really feel that puppetry is an important part of all writing. Toward the end of his life, Nichol co-founded with Philip McKenna of the Phoenix Foundation a Poetry Chapbook Award, which after Nichol's untimely death was renamed in his honor and has continued under the aegis first of the Phoenix Foundation and currently of Meet the Presses. The prize is awarded to a poetry chapbook judged to be the best submitted, according to whatever best means to our judges. The most effective use of literary staples, perhaps. The author receives $4,000 and the publisher receives $500. Awarded continuously since 1986, the bpNichol Chapbook Award is currently administered by the Meet the Presses Collective and is awarded at our annual Indie Literary Market or our Zoom cool equivalent event like this year.
Yeah, and I guess just to amplify a bit of that, and correct me, Gary, if I'm doing any repetition, but that $4,000 prize to the writer is by an anonymous donor, right? Yeah, and the $500 prize to the publisher of the winning chapbook is generously provided by writers Carl Jurgens and Michael Dean. Much gratitude. Past contributors to the publisher prize include Brian Dodora and Jim Smith. And again, apologies for any mispronunciations. Can we just take a moment to recognize their significant and generous support, like big loves? Though that's not small potatoes there, those award sums.
No, and I love, in addition to it being a substantial award, I also really love that the publishers also get an award, because recognizing that in small press publishing, it's the publishers who are doing all this work to make these works in the world, like to bring them out, to distribute them, to let people know, to inspire the writers, all of that. So I'm really glad that that's a feature of the award. Our judges this year, excellent staple readers and diviners, were Jordan Abel and Jennifer Lovegrove. We'd really like to thank them very much for their enthusiasm and dedication in reading and considering all the works submitted. We're thrilled to support these titles and their publishers. If you're interested in purchasing the chapbooks, you can go to the various publishers' websites. There's not an easy one-stop shop place, but that's kind of what's cool about it, is everybody does their own thing in their own way.
Yeah, Thank you. And first, though, I think we're going to introduce Tali Boron and Jacqueline Valencia from Meet the Presses, and they're going to announce the the five shortlisted titles for the 2021 bpNichol Chapbook Award, and then we'll hear some readings from the shortlisted writers.
Manifest, published by Gap Riot. Therese Mason Pierre is writer and editor whose work has appeared in The Walrus, The Puritan, Quill and Choir, and Fantasy Magazine, among others. Her work has been nominated for the Ignite Award, the Riesling Award, and Best of the Net. She is the co-editor-in-chief of Augur Magazine, a Canadian speculative literature journal. Therese has also co-hosted poetry reading series, organized literary events, and facilitated creative writing workshops. She is the author of Chapbooks, Surface Area, published by Ann Struther Press in 2019, and Manifest, published by Gap Riot Press in 2020. Therese lives and works in Toronto, Canada.
Hi, my name is Therese Mason Pierre, and I'm the author of the chapbook Manifest, which was published by Gap Riot Press in 2020. I'm going to read one poem for you all today, and it's the last poem in the chapbook, and it's titled La Diablesse. She never walks completely on the road. She wears a dress, a shade of blue that doesn't exist, a color my mother saw when she nearly died, projecting me into this world, and the sky and water turn this godly shade. As a seamstress, an artist, my mother was never satisfied again. This blue woman is best friends with the dark and Flora. We don't talk about where she comes from. We wait for a man to drive by this lonely road at night, spot her, stop her. She wears a hat like a tourist, which she is. One leg in this land, one leg outside a slit, both hands grasping. Every man, I suppose, must compare to the deal maker. I never wondered how close she was with him, how deep she dipped her black toe into the role of vessel, of enemy. I imagine she is fine with the skin on her face, its leather and fur. The hat has a purpose, see. No man would go willingly. At the sound of his chirps, she casts a spell. Here is where I get jealous. When I was younger, a man followed me home and cornered me behind my father's garage, told me to lift my dress, remove my panties. Within spitting distance of hammers, drills, and acid, I did not comply, and then I do not remember. But perhaps I saw that same blue, the same blue this woman swishes, this woman animals and goddesses around night after night. The spell is in the disappearing, in the wild way he wails through the trees. When I first heard of her, I thought she'd have sex with them before their demise. Later, I realized it was never about sex. It was about power. I want to see her whole face, her victory pose, heifer on high, backlit by the moon as the man crashes to his grave. But there are different kinds of power. When I walk alone, I walk half on the grass, half on the street. No one stops me these days. I wear pants. I bottle the lore my mind allows me to think about on days I want to be controlled by a demon. Dream about blue when I want to die. Thank you so much. Thank you to the Meet the Presses committee. Thank you to the judges. I'm so excited that my chapbook was shortlisted. And congratulations to all the other nominees. Thanks.
A Trip to the Zoo, publisher Collusion Books. MADE is a collaborative writing entity that was co-founded in 2018 by artist, designer, poet Marc Laliberté and writer Jade Wallace. MADE's work has appeared in dozens of journals, including Dallam, Poetry is Dead, and Prism International, and has been collected in 3 chapbooks. With the support of the Canada Council for the Arts, MADE is currently at work developing their Collusion Books chapbook, A Trip to the Zoo, into a full-length poetry manuscript, to be titled Zoo.
Hi, I'm Jade Wallace.
And I'm Marc Laliberté.
Collectively, we are Made. We have been writing together since 2018. A Trip to the Zoo, seen here in both of its wolf and deer versions, is our second of 3 chapbooks. Thank you to our publisher, Collusion Books. Thank you to Meet the Presses for organizing this award. We are very honored to have made the shortlist. Today we're going to be reading 2 poems for you from A Trip to the Zoo, which we are currently working on a full-length manuscript of. Extremophile.
Water enough to withstand boiling, bare enough to outlast the frigidity of space, not adapted to exploit these conditions, only to endure them, slow walking.
If a caterpillar met a manatee on the eve of the apocalypse and schemed to outlast everything but the sun, they would become a much smaller creature than anyone expected.
Creator of all things incognito, tried to exert their will upon it, but it would not take the shape.
So tardigrade becomes retrograde, desiccating into glass and then waiting for resurrection.
Death goes green. One species trash
It's another species sustenance. This is the paradigm.
of all endurance.
Endings in
Unended landscapes. An ant responds to its hill.
Airgate child held close,
By gravity, the sky looks
bigger today. Absence will do that to a space,
like when fungus disappears plastic.
into itself. But death has always been green like that,
Its bone, roots, reaching, pushed into
living soil. Escape from Trash Mountain.
so many unmade things.
The bears play dead,
An old tree falls and they pretend not to hear.
close their eyes to the night, and make the moon disappear
Garbage is never ugly
in the dark. The moon does not exist
if nobody is looking. It goes out like a snuffed candle.
when the sun blinks.
Thank you for listening. We will see you at the main event.
Sprawl, published by Collusion Books. Manaho Bandukwala is a visual artist and writer. She is coordinating editor for Arc Poetry Magazine and digital content editor for Cantheus, and is a member of Ottawa Writing Collective 7. Kanye Clayton is a writer, musician, editor, and gymnastics coach living on unceded Algonquin Anishinaabe land. Her debut collection, We Shed Our Skin Like Dynamite, published by Grinica Editions in 2020, was a finalist for the 2021 Relit Award and Ottawa Book Awards. Her most recent chapbooks are Sprawl, published by Collusion Books in 2020, written with Manaho Bandukwala and shortlisted for the bpNichol Award, and Towers, also published by Collusion Books in 2021 by 7, of which she is a member.
Thank you so much to Meet the Presses for shortlisting Sprawl, The Time It Took Us to Forget, for the bpNichol Award.
And thank you to our publisher, Collusion Books, and Andy Verboom for putting up with all of our cow-based promotion. We're going to read 2 poems from Sprawl. Times are still too early for this kind of thinking. I woke up, remembering every cow I've ever seen on a mountain. El Cocoy, Glencoe, Chiang Mai, Kentucky. I walked over a small bridge yesterday. The ice was breaking apart. Crush winter, mutation. Let cows eat moss. Ice slides downhill into the river. Let me drink it. Is it okay to say I miss cows? Miss mountains? Pine for thoughts to sprawl. Envelop us? Rots forgotten until a gentle hand lifts a log.
A gentle hand lifts the log. An ecosystem has flourished in the time it took us to forget. Over a small bridge, a family of 8 legs dangles. The stream trickles on. Cows continue to wander mountains. In space, a far, far trek away, a cow meets a human who does not pine for coffee shops and libraries. Why breathe the wood scent of an art gallery when pine and cedar dance their way up a gentle slope. I wake up, a dream of skin and smoke, an ecosystem under a cow's trotting hooves. From Kentucky to Karachi, we make our way. The world so big and too small at the same time. And thank you so much to Connie.
Thanks, Manal Hill.
It was Treaty, I Was Me, publisher of Vallum Books. Matthew James Weigel is a Dean and Métis poet and artist pursuing a PhD in English at the University of Alberta and holds a Bachelor of Science in Biological Sciences. He is the designer for Moon Jelly House Press, and his words and art have been published by people like Art Poetry Magazine, Book Hug, The Polyglot, and Mamawi Project. Matthew is a National Magazine Award finalist, Cecil E. McTaggart Award winner, and winner of the 2020 Vallum Chapbook Award. His debut full-length collection, White Mud Walking, is forthcoming in early 2022 with Coach House Books. His chapbook, It Was Treaty, It Was Me, is available now.
Hi there, my name is Matthew James Weigel. Thank you so much for having me tonight here for this honor. I am going to read from my chapbook, It Was Treaty, It Was Me. 1876, Treaty Number 6. I wake up at 6 a.m. to a weight on my chest, and I massage it until it says the word treaty. 1876, and my uncle is at Beonan, signs the treaty with a leftward slant. It is August, and the aspens bend in the wind. Dreamt I was in a library again, walking down the stairs into the basement, walking down the stairs into the earth. I see the treaty parchment on a wooden table, and it comes as no surprise as the land herself that holds this knowledge. 1921, Treaty Number 11. My lungs are full of spruce trees, but otherwise I am empty. I am here to witness. 1921, and grandfather working for the company in Fort Providence. It is June, and that far north the sun would not set on the British Empire that day. He signs the treaty with a heavy ink and with his own pen. I dreamt I was a library again. It is an all or nothing calling. I have language for it. I have bones, but otherwise am formless before the 7 a.m. alarm held loose on bird song, briefly between the low notes on their way to the water. I am bounded by the geese and punctuated by the dwindling of the caribou. 2020, witness continued. Dreamt I was a river again, a thread of a glacier unwinding itself in slow motion, slow enough to dip hands in and drink. Thank you so much.
Wow, like let's give it up for those incredible nominees, finalists. That was just amazing, really.
So great, and it's so really fantastic to hear everybody read. You know, these were my finalists. I thought, you know, Dante was really, really good. It's one of the best books this year as chapbook form, and Wittgenstein, really. But you know, judges, it's so arbitrary. And these have to be staples.
Yeah.
No, really, but those are fantastic books. It's such a lovely celebration of small press books. And also then I also like the idea of like, we want to celebrate these books, but also going, checking out and seeing what all the other books were that were all in conversation with these books.
That's the
well.
thing. That's the thing. The conversation, communion, collaboration. It was like this sort of hybrid root thing going on with these nominees. It was just really cool. And thanks to our Meet the Press collective for the videos and doing all that labor. It's really lovely. I hope our audience feels that way.
Absolutely. And the details of the books, if you want the specific titles, will be on our website. So you can go in and so then you can figure out how to order them from there. So of course, we highly and enthusiastically encourage you to do that.
Yes, I'm just unfashionably, as always, brimming with enthusiasm for the books and the publishers in this moment.
Enthusiasm is so uncool. Yeah, geez.
So uncool.
West
Yeah.
Coast thing, I think.
All about that. So thank you all for attending an H of a night for an H of a year. Oh, we really hope that the upcoming months and year have less E double hockey sticks in them and are more instead like, okay, quote coming, bpNichol's H, a celebration of language, breathing, home, poetry, oneself and one's community, writing, curiosity and joy. Oh, I'll live with that. Writing, curiosity, and joy. So just a reminder that our Press Clips event takes place November 25th to 28th with your favorite small presses from across Canada. And hey, the announcement of the award winner. So if you came to this, you got to come to that. Please visit our website, meetthepresses.wordpress.com for details. And I'm going to turn it over to Gary.
Oh yeah, and just again, congratulations to Gap Riot, Collusion, and Vallum Presses. And of course, our 6 shortlisted authors, Therese Mason Pierre, Manahel Bandukwala and Conyer Clayton, Mark Liberté and Jade Wallace, and Matthew James Weigel.
Yeah, that's a wrap. That's incredible. Next time I'm going to wear plaid. And good night, Gary. Thank you so much. Thank you to Meet the Presses. I'm a new collective member. Thanks everyone for joining. And what have we missed? Have we missed anything?
I don't think so. Small press publishing is the best vaccination against the pandemic of large corporate colonial patriarchal viruses.
Yeah, man. Everything that Gary said, everything that Beth said. Oh my goodness. Hey, that's one thing, Gary. Where can folks, because I've had some folks message me directly, where can folks access that interview? Is that on our website, the one with Beth?
It's on YouTube. Aaron actually posted a link to it somewhere
so he did.
in the chat, but you can get to it through, we have a YouTube channel. So we're posting things, including this, because people are going to want to get this repartee.
Oh, there's the link again. Yeah.
Their grandchildren and
yeah. And I just thought, again, your interviews with folks were magnificent. And then all the labor doing that, you guys, I think you and Aaron, maybe Kyle from our collective, editing, and then all the editing that's going to come up for press clips, like how this collective has adapted from going to on the ground fair to this medium. I feel a lot of gratitude, and look at all these wonderful comments. Fabulous books. Can't wait to get us like multi-stack them. And honestly, it is a wrap. Mwah. We're going to say goodbye unless folks just want to.
Thanks so much.
Mwah. Aw, there he is.